Yo, what's up guys, Joho here, and today we're doing back at T4's on a budget, and today we're doing the Black Order and Thanos. This one took a lot of thought, a lot of looking at the skills, stats, stuff like that, just because they all benefit so much from T4's. I would love to do so many on them, but we're all on a budget here, so we can only do a few. These are the ones that I've narrowed it down to the best I can, what I think are the ones that are going to work out for you the best with what you've got basically. But no more of me blabbering, let's roll the intro and get on to it. Alright guys, welcome back. Yeah, so let's just get straight to it. We're going to start with Ebony Maw. So with Ebony Maw, you want to do his, as you can see, I've already done them, but you want to do his special, Insidious Whisper. You apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies, apply counter to self, all Black Order and Thanos allies, apply offense down for 2 turns to all enemies, and clear counter from all enemies. So with the T4 in it, you add a total, you add an extra turn of defense up. I was on the border of this one, wondering if they'd actually need it or not, but he's not only using his team, but he's a great asset in DD3, and a lot of people are just using him on the arena meta, not using like the whole team. And that defense up is to all allies, not just the Black Order ones. So it is very helpful because you get 2 turns of defense up, they all get 2 turns of offense down and defense up. It works really well. It just works.
And again, it just works.
Alright, then we're going to go into Forced Transfusion, which is his ultimate. So on this one, you steal 3% health from all enemies and you redistribute to all allies. This bypasses heal block. Repeat this attack 4 times. Apply slow to all enemies for 2 turns. Fill speed bar for self and all allies by 5% per Black Order and Thanos allies. So that will be, I think it's 25% or 20. First for self, so it's 25%, and reduce speed bar for all enemies by 5% per Black Order and Thanos allies. So I'm guessing that's either 20 and 25 again. So what you get with the T4 is that last little bit there, the fill speed bar and the reduce speed bar, massively helpful. Even if he's on his own, he's still going to do a little bit of turn, rewind and speed up for himself, kind of thing, but on that team, absolutely a necessity. It is probably one of the best moves in the team. But yeah, that's it for that. On his thing, you gain the resistance, and the Black Order and Thanos allies gain 10% resistance. The resistance is nice, but Thanos Cull's already got pretty good resistance, and then because he's like just a big sack of stats, he is. Then you've got Black Order and Thanos, so I wouldn't say that one's really that necessary, and neither his basic. So moving on, we're going to go to Cull Obsidian, who on this one I wouldn't do his basic. If you're going to take him into Dark Dimension 3, I'm not sure many people would, but like let's say you want to run him, let's say you've already got Thanos in DD3 and you get Ebony Maw and you want to take him as well, you can do. If you were going to do that, I would recommend the 10% healing one, just because he has got a lot of health, and that would just help that survivability that little bit more, but that isn't essential whatsoever. A lot of people say this one, I think by the time this move comes around, and it's only single target. Yes, it does a lot of damage, but it's not. I haven't come to rely on it at all. It's not like that's made me win a match ever, or been like between him killing one target or not has made me lose a match, anything like that. His one that you definitely want to do is his Payback, which is his passive. Just because that gets him to do 50% more damage, so let's read it out. On spawn, actually we'll skip that bit. When an enemy attacks an ally, Thanos or Ebony Maw, attack that enemy for 200% damage. That will go to 250% damage, as you can see in the bottom left. And then you get when you drop below, you're getting death proofs, and blah blah, and then you gain the 20% max health, and Black Order and Thanos allies gain 20% max health. Obviously with that you gain 30% himself, so again, and that would help that 10% healing, but again this will give him an extra 10% health, so he's got even more health. And then his Thanos and the allies do. Thanos already has so much health as well, he's so hard to take down. This just makes that team so much harder to wear down, and it can be such a grind against them. So after that we're going to go on Proxima. This one's again a difficult one. A lot of people say the last light is amazing because you get a bit more piercing damage, but you reduce that 20 speed bar by an extra 25%, which is really good because then it goes, you reduce the speed, you put slow and stun on them, and you basically take them out of the game. They ain't coming back in this match for a long time, but realistically in the team doesn't need it. So the only time she needs it is if you're using her much on her own, which you don't use her that much on her own. I would say if you're going to take her into DD3, maybe do it. I didn't put it on there. I don't think it is that necessary. Just because it is the ultimate as well, which requires the most T4's. So I haven't done that one. I haven't done her. I won't be doing her passive either, because even though you get the extra focus, which they do desperately need, I've tried to keep this one down to a minimum because there was so many I would love to have done, but it's just not realistic, and this is T4's on a budget, so I opted not to do the focus one to keep these down. But yeah, I've done this one for DD3 because you don't have many skill characters in this game for DD3 like to take up really, so you could take up Corvus and Proxima. And then if you do that, I would definitely recommend, this is like a two-part thing, if you take just her up, maybe not this, but if you're taking both Corvus and Proxima in to DD3, definitely do this, because you're always clearing 2 positive effects. So if you're clear 2, then the assist will clear another, so that's 3, and vice versa, and you get that little bit extra damage from both of them as well. So that's Proxima done. So let's go on to Corvus Claive. So Corvus Claive, again, like I just said, do that thing for the the always assist, as well as the extra clearing to make sure, stuff like that. So bloodletting is just piercing. He is very high damage, so it is nice to have that extra damage, but it's not amazing kind of thing. So, and yeah, so then on his passive, Loyal Lieutenant, you get obviously the offense up and everything, and the part obviously we want to do is the gain 20% damage, and Black Order and Thanos allies gain 20% damage. So with this, you do get while in stealth gain 20% crit chance, so that while in stealth gain 20% crit chance and 20% crit damage goes up to 40%, so it's almost every time he hits in stealth, it's almost like 1 in 2 that he's going to get a crit, and then his crit damage is even higher, so he does hit like a ton truck. And then with the extra damage, this is the one I chose, I would say, over the focus, because they do benefit that focus with the flip that Thanos does and stuff, but you're better off, I think, getting the damage one and just hitting harder kind of thing. So that's the one that I went through with that one. So last but certainly not least, we are going to go to Thanos, who is here. So first, you might be confused why I put the raid one for his passive. What I mean is this, is depending, let's say you haven't got all the team, or you are using Ebony and Thanos in raids, he won't go into his empowered state, and with that I would definitely say you want the what it is, on death of an enemy, 75% chance to generate 2 ability energy for self or adjacent cosmic ally. So you have him next to Ebony and maybe Hela on the other side kind of thing. What you want this for on raid, if you are using them in raids, is for the guaranteed always generate 2 ability energy instead of a 75% chance. You definitely want to make sure you are getting that ability energy with everything behind him. He'll be using his special a lot more for those defense up, offense downs. Let's say a Hela or someone like that, or even Black Bolt next to him on the right or left, whatever setup you have, they're getting energy all the time as soon as someone dies, obviously. So if you're going against anyone with summoning or anything like that, it is very helpful, but that is only on raid. Now, on the empowered Thanos, you want to be doing, this one took me a long time to figure out how it works. Infinity Blast would be really good because it does hit really hard. Excuse me. But it's just damage and the always counter, which it isn't spectacular. Time Shift, this one I've done some testing on. So if you're playing them, you are very rarely going to use this first turn. So if you're not using it first turn, it goes to Cull, who will then taunt, and then you would then probably use this on the third turn, because Thanos gets a turn really quick. But then you don't need this taunt because Cull's already taunting, and I'm pretty sure Cull taunts for 2 turns, so it's not necessary to get that extra taunt. The flip all positive effects to negative effects for all enemies is quite nice, but it is 3 he's doing anyway. So it's very rare that you see that. You do see sometimes quite a lot, like 4, maybe even 5, maybe, but it's very rare that that's a game changer, that he doesn't flip that 1 or 2 that's there. If you do use this first turn, he's then getting taunt straight away. But so let's say the enemy team then get 2 more attacks in between that, they are going to Cull instead of random enemies. This team has enough defense up and stats to survive, I think, a couple barrages before then Cull would taunt anyway. So again, it's just, I think, a bit null void this ability a little bit. So that's why I didn't choose that. It was a big debate though for me and a couple of people I was speaking with. The last one I would definitely say to do is the Celestial Barrage. You want, well, after this goes off, this team loses a lot of momentum because they've already kind of gone through some of the cooldowns. They'll have a little bit left of, I think, Proxima and stuff like that. But you want this one to be hitting hard and pretty much either killing them all or just taking them so they're almost dead. And if Thanos has been hit really hard, he will get all his health back doing this. It will make sure it hits for 2 additional times instead of a chance for a second time, and it will do it, and it's piercing damage to all targets, so an extra 50%, so 250 across the board, and an extra 50% drying on primary and secondary attacks. So just very useful all in all. I would definitely recommend this one. But yeah, that is the Black Order and Thanos, a great team, maybe not the advertised defense team that Foxnext thought they would be.
A powerful team in war defense. I see war defense more for them than offense because they're made for arena defense also, and
but still top meta team. There's no other team power for power that I think can beat this, like X-Men and Humans. None of them can beat these one-on-ones. But that's all from me here today. Hope you enjoyed it and liked the infographic that I've obviously got in the description below. I will be doing a cool video on Wednesday about the next legendary, so I hope you're around to see that. Leave a like and subscribe. But from all of us here at my home, I'm Joho, and you stay classy, YouTube.